Board of Education meeting. And we just want to mention a couple things. Had an opportunity to talk to some people down east, and some of those people down there are still out of school. Some of them said they'd be lucky to be in school middle of next week, and just in terrible, terrible shape down in the eastern part of the state. So we need to keep those people in our thoughts and prayers as time goes on here. It's going to be very difficult with several of their schools because roofs have been ripped off and that kind of thing. So it's a tough time for those people down there, and with the storm coming up, just dumping some more rain is certainly not going to help the situation. Want to make a big announcement, and that is that many of you, or some of you at least, probably know that Caldwell County has applied for a $15 million grant from the state of North Carolina, and we applied for it last year and just barely missed out on it. And this year we got it. We just found out today. So that's $15 million from the state, and of course this is earmarked for the project at Granite Falls Middle School. And the county commission has matched according to what they needed to, which was $5 million. So we're very, very pleased about the whole thing. We want to thank the county commissioners for their efforts. We want to thank Dr. Church for all that you did in this whole process, and you've been with it from the very beginning, and thank you so much. And also Destin, thank you. We know that you have played an important role in that process as well. And we also want to thank our former superintendent, Dr. Stone, and certainly Dr. Phipps has continued in that and been pushing hard. And we have finally come to the point that we have that grant in hand. Well, I don't guess we have it in hand, but it's been guaranteed to us. It's been released that Caldwell County is one of those receiving $15 million. So we are very, very fortunate to have that. So it's a great day indeed for Caldwell County schools. We want to move on with the agenda. At this time, I'd like to recognize fellow board member Mrs. Teresa Branch for the invocation for the board.
Thank you. As we think about Caldwell County schools, one thing that always comes to mind is kindness. That Caldwell County students, Caldwell County educators, Caldwell County families genuinely care about one another. When those 5-year-olds go skipping into kindergarten that first day, one of the first things taught by that teacher is not reading and math, it's kindness, being kind to one another, working together. And that message is continued through elementary school, middle school, and high school, and it's just a part of the culture. So tonight, I just, for our invocation, ask that everyone just pause and reflect a way we can all add a little more kindness into our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Branch. Wanted to mention one other thing too, and that is the board is just getting used to a new technology platform here, and it's called Board Docs, and that's why you have James Idlet up here from the technology department. If we get in trouble, he's going to help us out. So we expect that it's going to take us a little bit of time getting used to this, but we are very confident that it's going to be a very good program, and we're going to be able to retrieve policies and past meetings and any other items that relate to this particular meeting or past meetings. Once we get into it, obviously we can't pull on those right now, but next month we would be able to jump back to this month's in the archive part of the platform. So we're very optimistic about this new technology improvement that we have here. But James is up here to help us today. We hope that we can maybe get a handle on it by the end of the evening today. Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and today we have students from the Early College High School, and those students are Kurt Hensley, Lyric Larson, and Bethany Jantis. If they'll come forward, and all stand, please.
Okay, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here with us tonight. We appreciate it. Next item is the approval of the agenda. And the board has had opportunity to review the agenda. That being the case, do I hear a motion that we approve the agenda as has been presented?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we're going to do the click vote on
Gonna
this.
take
too.
a vote.
We're going to take a voice vote. We're also going to click and hope that it comes out right, because it's going to be projected on the screen. So, you know, this is one of those experimental things that we're into tonight. So we are taking a voice vote first. So we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Do all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now, if the board will,
You see the option in front of
where
you? Oh,
is it?
sorry, wait, one second. Okay. Going through.
Okay, where is it?
Where is
Oh,
it?
okay, I see it now.
Oh, here it is, okay.
You got to bear with
Okay,
us a little
yeah.
bit here.
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you shut it off at a certain point?
As soon as I see everybody's cast a vote.
Okay. And it should pop up on the screen?
I'm waiting on one.
Is it me?
Oh,
Oh, it's not.
Have all of y'all voted?
Yes.
we've all voted.
There.
Okay, go ahead.
Where does it?
Can we do it? Okay, I'm gonna mark it for.
Sorry.
All right, so she's gonna mark this first one for you. Since you already voted, she's gonna mark it for you, and we'll come
Okay.
back to you on the next one.
Okay.
Okay.
Suspense is killing.
Should we just go on?
Yep, you can go on.
Okay. Okay, that motion has been approved. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for our September 10th, 2018 board meeting. Do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes of that meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of the September 10th, 2018 board minute.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion passes, or are we gonna,
Yeah, it's coming. You go. Just one
okay,
second.
there it is.
Now, do.
Who's doing?
That's right.
See.
Is that the only one?
No, I'm waiting on Tim's too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Guys,
All right.
not popping up.
So we're in the same situation, Teresa.
Yeah, something's wrong with Teresa. I'm gonna go ahead and say, was that a?
Yes.
That was a yes. Do we need to?
No, you gotta keep doing it.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on with the approval of the minutes for our district walkthrough, the High Brighton district walkthrough that took place recently here. The board has had opportunity to review those September 24th, 2018. Do I hear a motion we approve the minutes of the district walkthrough community comment meeting?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from the High Brighton District walkthrough.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? Okay, now we're ready to punch it again. This will be smoother in the next month or two.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, those minutes have been approved by voice vote. Next item on the agenda is the honors and recognitions. And we're always happy to recognize our students and teachers that win awards. So we are going to move down and congratulate those. Mrs. Libby Brown, Community Relations Director, will lead us through this part of the agenda.
Chairman Pennell, Vice Chairman Knight, board members, and Dr. Phipps. Before we get into honors and recognition, I just want to let you know you're all safe with any troubles you may have tonight, because we have a whole room full of kids. And these are our technology experts, right? So if you're in a pinch, they'll come up and help you. It's our pleasure tonight to recognize most of these students in the audience tonight for their exceptional artwork. And it is on display this month, the very first month of our Education Center Art Gallery, in which we will recognize these students for being selected by their teachers. So this is a very special moment for you to be in the spotlight at the Education Center all month. And parents, please come back. Come back and come back and bring your friends and your family and your grandparents, because we love it here and we want you to have such delight as we do in seeing your children's artwork. So children, as I call your name, please come forward, and you're going to be recognized by the Board of Education and Dr. Phipps. We're going to start with Davenport A+ School. And the principal is Kelly Smith. Art teacher is Dabney Smith. And Julian Clark, first grade. Yes. Gianni Gonzalez. Gianni is a third grader at Davenport A+ School. Okay. Jaya Reinhardt, I don't think she did make it. Kindergartners, okay. Jacarius Sainer, and Jacarius is a fourth grader. And we have one more student from Davenport A+ School, Natalie Vo. So I know Natalie is here. I met her with her parents. So children, if you'll get right in the middle there, in between the board members, we'll get a photograph, and parents feel free to take photos. And make sure we see you, board members. That's so cute. Okay, next we're going to recognize Laura Creek Elementary Principal is Leanne Fry, and art teacher is Hannah Bryant, and this is Hannah's first year with us in the Caldwell County Schools.
First few weeks.
First few weeks. I was trying to give her a little more credit. So we're very proud of her. We're going to start with Bailey Chapman, and Bailey is a 4th grader. Okay, Abby Clark, 4th grader. And if you didn't have a chance to see their artwork, you can see it here on either screen. Thank you, sir. Jalen Friday, 5th grade. Yes. Sophia Kern. Sophia is 1st grade at And we'll finish off with Laura Creek with Nia Fawn Wynn. He's also 5th grader. So we'll have a photograph. You want to get all the elementary students in there? And parents, again, this is a great photo op. What is it? It looks great. Okay, we're going to move to the next level. We're going to recognize some middle school students. At William Lenore Middle School, Principal Lisa Vaughn, art teacher Leah Rose. So now Miss Rose is here. And here's Miss Vaughn, yes. So we have both of them here with us. Cadence Collins. Cadence is a 6th grader at William Lenore Middle School. Johnny Miller. Johnny Miller is also a 6th grader. And Johnny, I think you have a large contingency of support here this evening. Lily Moore. Lily Moore is also a 6th grader. Gavin Riley, he's an 8th grader. and Kaylee Worthington, 8th grader at William Lenore Middle School. So we're very proud of you, and if you want to, Miss Vaughn, if you want to get over there, Miss. So we're very proud of all of our art students and their teachers and for bringing these beautiful, nice pieces of artwork to adorn our hallways. So thank you. And we are actually looking for our next student. He is traveling from Cincinnati, Ohio. So we will explain why when we get there, but I don't think he's here. Okay. So would you like, we'll continue that when he arrives.
I'd like to recognize our Board of Education for receiving the Silver Bell Award for whole board training. Our board was recognized recently at the District 7 Regional School Board meeting for their training in board member roles. This is a confirmation of the level of commitment that our board members have to their roles. And on behalf of the students, the faculty and staff, and community members in Caldwell County, I just want to say thank you for the job that you do and for the commitment that you have to your role as board members. Let's give them a round of applause.
Okay, again, thank you for being here. Now would be an appropriate time if you haven't had dinner or maybe the young ones have some homework to do. We're going to be recognizing Dakari here in a little bit whenever he arrives, but that may be a few minutes and then it may be 30 minutes, so we don't know how long that could be. But again, now would be an appropriate time if you want to slip out, but thank you so much for being here tonight. And you're welcome to stay. Okay, the next item on our agenda is public comment, and as of this afternoon, we have received no public comment, but Mrs. Branch had something she wanted to mention concerning Smart Start.
Dolly Parton's Imagination Library has been here in Caldwell County for almost 4 years now. Over 3,100 children are receiving a book free in the mail every single month. And we have a radio ad that just makes you smile when you hear it, and it's only 30 seconds. So I think Kathy's going to share that with us.
Caldwell County Smart Start knows that reading is important. So they're giving away free books. Free books in partnership with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library.
Any child under 5 years old living in Caldwell County
Can receive one free book each month.
all you have to do is go to caldwellsmartstart.org.
And click the picture of Dolly to register for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. That's Caldwell Smart
smart.org. Sign up today.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. Thank you. Next item is some announcements. October 26th, we have an early release day. So, keep that in mind. November 6th, of course, is Election Day, and we want to encourage everybody to vote, but that is also an optional teacher planning day that day. There will be no school for students, but it is an optional planning day for teachers and staff. November 12th is a holiday. The only holiday that the state says we have to observe, and it's a very important one, and that's Veterans Day. So we will be out of school on the 12th of November to commemorate Veterans Day. Our next board meeting will be here in the boardroom, and we have an art gallery at 5:45, and the meeting begin at 6, and that is November the 19th. That's a little later than usual, but that's because of the state school board's meeting that we attend in Greensboro. So our next meeting will be on November the 19th. Okay, we'll move along with the agenda. At this time, I would like to turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Don Phipps.
This is the time of the year when seniors are filling out college applications, and we want to make sure that we remind all of the family members and our students that this is the time to be looking at the college application process as well as FAFSA. That's something that has to be done and to be able to be considered for admittance. So we wish you great luck on that, and we look forward to hearing all the scholarship awards and acceptance that our students are going to receive. But make sure you don't get behind on that. We want to make sure it's done on time and that you're able to get in as early as possible. Also, I'm proud to announce that we received a grant recently for mental health professional development. This is a grant that would allow us to do some training in the area of trauma-informed leaders with our folks in the community and employees of our school system. So we look forward to having that training and making sure that our adults are working the best that we can with our students with multiple needs, and look forward to having that training. We're waiting on some clarification. There have been some questions in the community about the date that we missed in October, and the General Assembly met recently, and we've gotten some word of what we can or can't do. We're waiting for clarification, and as soon as we have that, we'll share that publicly with our plan. But we didn't want to jump the gun or make a decision and then have to backtrack. So if you'll be patient with us, we'll get that information to you as quickly as possible. And as our chairman has mentioned, there are many school districts in the eastern part of the state that are still severely impacted as a result of the hurricane. And we've supported those counties and school districts in many ways. We've had the collection of monies, we've had the collection of non-perishable food items and a variety of things. But tonight I'd like to announce that we're going to kick off a school supply drive. And we haven't identified the counties that we're going to work with yet. We want to find out those who have been partnered with and those who still have needs. But we would like to duplicate the effort that we have at the beginning of the school year for our students and be able to take, we hope, a truckload or more of school supplies to one or two counties in the eastern part of the state. They've got a lot to worry about. And many of those families lost school materials and school supplies, and we want to do our part to be able to help. So we want to reach out to individuals, to families, to churches, to other organizations and agencies, businesses, anyone in the community that's willing to support and just go through what we normally do in August and collect the supplies for those that have been most hard hit in the eastern part of the state. And finally, I want to thank the technology staff for their assistance as we move to board docs. This is a new process that we're going through, as you see tonight, that we have to work out the kinks, but the work of our technology staff behind the scenes to help support the efforts that we're going through, we're just very grateful for that, and I wanted to publicly thank them for their hard work and dedication as well.
Thank you, Dr. Phipps. Libby, would you like to take the floor again? And the board move down and
Our man of the hour is here. So, we are are extremely proud of now 10th grader at Early College High School, Dakari Chapman. If you'd like to come forward, because we have some things we'd like to read about you, and thank you for rushing over here. He was in Cincinnati, Ohio, I've been told, because you are now serving on the board for Constituting America. And that is because he is a national winner of Constituting America, a PSA contest right here from Caldwell County. He went to Washington, D.C. to be presented his award. He gave a speech, as well as he was involved in the Department of Education Constitution Day celebration. And I hear that during the time in D.C., you visited the Supreme Court. I think things are probably much calmer. Toured the White House and observed Congress from the gallery. And in your experience, you said that you learned that government isn't as easy as what people may seem. But it is an American thing, right? That sounds familiar, right? Would you, I haven't even had a chance to ask you, would you like to do your PSA for us? Not to put you on the spot.
I mean, if I can remember most of it.
Okay. You don't have to. It's just great. So if you don't, I know I put you on the spot. The video is on Vimeo. But it's a wonderful PSA. It's very patriotic. It comes from the perspective of a young person. And he ends with, what's your last line?
It's an American thing, so learn it.
Yes, so it's an American thing, so learn it. And we have his teacher with us, and his teacher is Sindel Chavers. And Sindel is the civics and economics teacher at Early College, if you'd like to join him.
Can we ask how he got to be able to go to Washington?
I think Sindel was instrumental in,
He won the competition, and in the competition, he actually flew to Texas first. And then at Texas, they did a professional version of the video, which is the one that it's about to air. That's the one on Vimeo. And then they took him to D.C., some of the winners to D.C. for the celebration of Constitution Day, which was September 17th. And so he had to give a speech in front of the Department of Education, and it was live streamed. And now he's on the board, so he's been flagged certain places as a winner to be on their board. And their whole goal is teaching the Constitution.
yes, so it's very impressive. We are very impressed. If you'll get there in the center, Dakari, with your, and shake all the board members' hands. They're very proud of you. And we do have several other teachers and representatives here from the Early College High School supporting you. And now you're our ambassador in Caldwell County, so congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda, I'm going to turn it over to Associate Superintendent for Education Program Services, Dr. Carol Burns.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Phipps, you have in your agenda the school improvement plans for the 26 schools. These have been worked on very carefully by the schools. This is the third year that we have used NC Star as the place to store these, and the reason we like that is that this is a continuous process, so you're never finished. You work out one goal and complete, if you complete it, you just pick up another one and go. And this year we did put a few parameters on it. One is that they needed 4 goals, at least 4 goals. This program has at least 125 major goals that a school would use. Now, you can develop your own, but I don't know why you would want to when those are in there. Plus, those are backed up by all of the research, so the research behind it is there. What the schools have to do is to keep a running, we call it a running diary of everything that you do in doing that particular goal. And it started, of course, with a comprehensive needs assessment. So that is the way that we work in the school system to make sure that our improvements continue throughout the school year and into the next school year and into the next school year. You've already seen some of these in your walkthroughs at High Brighton. We gave them a deadline to have those 4 in there, but if you looked at those again in about 6 weeks, there will be some changes on them as they improve or as they add to their particular goals. We ask that you approve their school improvement plans for this school year. They've worked very diligently, and all of the schools have a mentor from the Education Center to work with them personally if they have any problems, but part of that is to make sure that you're keeping your, we call it diary up. We hope that you're keeping your diary going, so we ask that you approve.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the 2018-2019 school improvement plans as has been presented?
Chairman Pennell, I move that we approve the 2018-2019 school improvement plans for our 26 schools as presented by Dr. Burns.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? Anyone? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion passes, and prepare to vote. We're going to try that again?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
You in?
Chris, I got hers.
This is your
Okay,
working.
same thing. All right.
Good.
Thank you, Dr. Burns. Next item on our agenda, Dr. Bill Griffin, Assistant Superintendent, Human Resource Services.
Chairman Pennell, members of the board, Dr. Phipps, thank you for allowing me to speak to you this evening. We have several items, some of just informational items, others are needing action this evening. The first item we have in Category 7, Human Resources Personnel. Subject A, Human Resources Usual and Customary Informational Items Only. Does anyone have any questions or anything about that particular document or things there? Thank you very much. Those are, again, for your information only. At this time, Category 7, Human Resources Personnel. Subject B, Usual and Customary Action Items, contracts that we have. If you don't have any questions about that document there, I would respectfully request a motion to approve usual and customary personnel actions as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the usual and customary personnel items as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Prepare to vote. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Category 7, Human Resources Services Personnel. Subject C, Human Resources Usual and Customary Personnel Action Items. This is the substitute list that you see before you there in board docs. If there's no questions about them, I respectfully request the motion to approve Human Resource Services Usual and Customary Personnel Action Items as presented.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the Human Resource Services usual and customary personnel items as presented by Dr. Griffin?
I'll make the motion we approve the usual and customary personnel action items.
Second.
Any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much. And lastly, Category 8, Human Resource Services, Student transfers, that's subject A, student transfers for 2018-2019 school year. Total transfer requests are 13. Transfers being recommended for board approval this evening are 13. Transfers not recommended are 0, for a total approval of 18-19 school year of 623. We also have a total transfers being revoked as 7. If there's no questions, I respectfully request a motion to approve Human Resource Services 2018-2019 student transfers as presented.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the Human Resource Services 2018-19 transfers, student transfers, as presented?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve the student transfers as presented.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Griffin. We appreciate it. Next item on our agenda, Mr. David Johnson, Finance Director.
Mr. Chairman, board members, and Dr. Phipps, I have two budget amendments tonight. The first one is for the State Public School Fund. It's in the amount of $742,512. It is for initial appropriations for the State Public School Fund, PRC 15, PRC 29, Behavioral Support, PRC 39, School Resource Officer Grant, PRC 63, Developmental Day Programs, and PRC 56 for Transportation Services. These are additional appropriations that were not available with our initial allotments. The second budget amendment that I have tonight is for capital outlay. It is not an increase in capital outlay. It is just a transfer between instructional services and system-wide support. I'd like to request that these be approved as submitted.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we approve the budget amendments as presented.
And I second the motion.
Second. Any questions?
If these are approved, it'll bring the total budget to Caldwell County Schools for all funds to $112,448,348.55.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next item on the agenda is concerning a board policy. I'll turn it over to Superintendent Dr. Don Phipps.
I'm seeking your approval on new board policy. It's 4203, 5030, and 7273, animals in schools. We put this before you for first reading some time back. We've had some feedback, and that's been incorporated in the version that you see, so we're just seeking your approval tonight.
Mr.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Board Policy 4203, 5030, 7273, animals in the schools.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Do I hear a motion from anyone to go into closed session?
Chairman Pennell, I move that we move into closed session to discuss confidential personnel matters pursuant to North Carolina General Statute to consult with the board attorney and preserve the attorney-client privilege as provided in General Statute 143-211.11A3.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. And we get to punch the button one more time here?
Do we take this in?
Nah.
I don't think we need to.
Okay, we're going to move to closed session. Don't expect any action once we get back. So thanks for being here. And we're not going to take but another minute or two here, but let me just say, and I don't, think we really need to discuss this because we were there, and we went to the District 7 meeting last week, and they always have, people from the School Boards Association, a legal update, and some of the things that are going on from Raleigh. So they inform us about that. And then they had a couple sessions, and we attended those. One was on leadership matters, which dealt with oversight versus overstepping. And another one that I thought, those that attended, and I don't know if we may have all attended, when the unimaginable occurs or happens. A student from Wilkes County was killed in Washington D.C. getting run over by a bus. And, that was just so terrible, to sit and listen to that. But, basically it is, you got to plan for all aspects of a field trip. You got to plan for any possibility. And that's one that you'd want to think about, but it's something that you need to give some thought to. And I think they handled it quite well, and I think those who heard it were impressed with the way that the teacher, the principal, superintendent handled that situation. So it was a good session, and anyway, that being said, do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We got to vote again.
Oh,
I'll do it for everybody.
okay.
Here we go.
I already closed mine up, so I forgot.